Welcome to the SJAM Boxing Show. My name's Shane, and every episode we will be joined by SJAM co-founder Sam Jones and special guests to talk everything boxing. How are you, Sam?
I'm all right, mate. You?
All good, all good. He's part of our panel, so he'll be on it every week. Unfortunate for some, but maybe fortunate for others as well. So what have you been up to?
Not a lot today. Just making sure you're doing your job.
Yeah.
No, just Florian Marco's fight's just been announced today for Pro Dan on the 25th of September on the AJ undercard. So busy-ish day today, but not too bad.
That's what we like to hear. Lucky enough to, again today, we're joined by Johnny, the Romford Ball Fisher. How are you, Johnny?
I'm good, thanks, Shane. Thank you for having me on in this capacity. It's exciting.
Yeah. It was running a little bit late today, but that's all good. Yeah. We can get past that. We're also joined by former world-ranked heavyweight Chris Lovejoy. He's now 20-1, coming off a defeat against Manuel Shah. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. So I'm the guest. You're supposed to introduce me first. Yeah. I'm sure everybody knows who these guys are. That's all good. But I'm the guest. So future reference, introduce me first.
I think Johnny's high ranks at the moment, so I introduced him first.
Best till last, Chris. Best till last, bro. Best till last.
I got you.
How have you been, Chris? Anyway, how are you keeping?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm just working. I just got assigned me a heavyweight, so we trying to get him going. So I'm just focused on that right now. Blessed, all is well.
Talking a little bit on your last fight, obviously it was your biggest step up to date against a former world-ranked heavyweight as well. Obviously, Manuel Shah, he's been in there with some massive names over his long career. How was it fighting away from home for the first time as well? I know that you fought in Mexico before. I mean, like traveling into Europe for a big bout.
It was cool. The experience was nice. I got to see another part of the world I probably would have never saw. As far as the fight go, I mean, I wasn't really prepared for the fight. It was a fight I had to do based on everything I had going on with the bankruptcy and my previous contracts. I had to go give me a fight. I've been out of the ring a year and a half. And, I just came up short, but, I wasn't prepared for the fight. It was a good experience, but I'm back.
And how are you moving forward from that? What have you learned from that experience moving forward?
Just be prepared. Don't take nobody lightly. Always be prepared. And, just, it's not a game, you know what I mean? And, before I would just show up to a fight, no team, no nothing. Like I've always done for my previous fights in Tijuana, Mexico. But this is real boxing, and I won't do that no more. Because I can't take no more losses, and I won't take no more losses.
No, I see what you mean. A little bit on you, Johnny, as well. Obviously, you had a career best performance against your biggest step up to date against Danny Whitaker last time out during fight camp. How was the experience of fighting a guy that was genuinely coming to win, that was coming to take your head off, that had a few decent wins in his career as well, had a bit of momentum? How was it to fight someone like that your first time as a pro, and especially when you never really come up against someone like that in the amateurs either?
Yeah, it felt good. It felt good to know that I'm going in for a proper test. Don't get me wrong, the other two were tests, but in different ways in terms of dealing with the pressure of my debut and dealing with being on a big card. But this was a good test in terms of a boxing test, but it didn't look that way because I prepared very hard with Mark Tibbs and I've been training really hard for it, and it paid off with a good round 2 knockout.
And what did you take from that experience? Like you said, I know that they're all different tests before, and obviously any pro fight you have at this stage of your career is going to be a test because it's all new to you. But how is it fighting a guy that literally was coming to win? Do you think that suits your style a bit more rather than someone sitting on the back foot?
It does. He did go on the back foot, to be fair to him. He was looking to sort of nick shots here and there, and he wasn't giving me much, but that played into my hands a little bit because I've been working on being a bit more patient. I can still be a little bit more patient than I was, but the game plan was to break him down, and I've done that successfully. So, listen, to fight in front of a crowd for the first time as well as a professional, albeit a small one, that was a good little test, and I'm looking forward to fighting in an arena with thousands of people watching.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it. Also, we've got Chris Lovejoy here, who's been calling out every SJAM heavyweight there is. Started out with Joe Joyce, and he's slowly worked his way through every single one of them.
I still want Joe Joyce at some point.
You still want to have a fight with Joe Joyce?
Yeah.
What have you got to say about that, Sam?
Yeah, don't do that. I don't want to see that. I mean, Listen, Chris, me and you we have banter aside, but me and Chris get on really well. He's a mate of mine. I don't want to see any of my fighters have a fight with Chris. I want to see him go down maybe a different path. But if he fought anyone, I would like to see him fight Johnny, because I think they're two, like, Johnny's a respectful guy. Chris is bringing a very big record. Listen, no matter what anyone says about Chris, he's still, I think he's at 20 fights, 19 wins by knockout. You can't knock 19 people out if you don't carry power. So whatever the case is, if Johnny went in there against him, he's going in there against somebody that can punch, because I've seen many heavyweights like have fights against people and they can't get them out of their journeyman, can't get them out of there. He can clearly punch. I don't know about the rest of his exact skill set, but I don't think Chris professes to be some Pernell Whitaker version of a heavyweight. He just professes to go in there and knock people out. So it would still be a dangerous fight for someone like Johnny, and a fight that Johnny would take extremely seriously, because all power has to be respected.
No, absolutely. So, Chris, a little bit more on the other fighters you've been calling out, which obviously has been Sol Dakers originally, and you've now moved on to Johnny Fisher. What's the reason behind this? Do you genuinely believe that you can beat these guys?
Well, I mean, I watched both of them. I think Johnny's probably like moving a little faster as far as I see the progression of each fight. I think he's more ready for a step up. Me watching Solomon, it looked like, he's just kind of cruising. And not taking it away from him. It's just that Johnny's moving fast as far as the skill. And I think he's learning from every fight. So, and that's what I want, I can't go back down. Anybody I fight, it got to be a good fight for me. So, I can go fight right now in Mexico with my fighter. I can go fight and get 25-1. I have no need for it. So, I'm up for the challenge.
To be fair, Sol's fighting Kamil Sokolovsky next. That's a big step up. But I think, I suppose, out of the wins between Sol and Johnny now, Johnny has obviously is ahead, because again he's 3-0, Sol's 2-0. But I think Sol's fight against Sokolovsky trumps that in my opinion. So they're both similar there, but Sol has a lot more experience than Johnny, and he will actually be moved faster than Johnny. Even though I believe Johnny is capable of it, I'm still holding the reins on Johnny a little bit. Yeah.
Me personally, like I said, not taking that away from Sol. I like Johnny, as a person. I watch all his stories, I watch his stuff. I like him. I think it'd be a good fight. Like I said, not taking that away from Sol.
For sure.
He's good and all that. I just like Johnny fight.
Stylistically, you and Johnny is a great.
Yeah. I think we're just banging out.
The Romford Ball versus the California Grizzly. It's a good.
Yeah, exactly. We're just banging out.
Yeah, it's a good ring to it.
The Cali Bear versus the Romford Ball. Let's do it,
man.
Let's do it.
I feel like we're onto something here. I feel like we should get this made. The names, everything. You've got it all.
We can do it. Let's make sure we get paid enough.
That's it.
See, I'm not tripping on the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let y'all deal with the money and make sure that their team is right. I'm okay with the low purse. I'm fine right now. This is, like I said 3-4 months ago, this fight is for legacy. I got everybody right where I want them. So I won't hold out for a big purse. It's not like it's not.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. Well, listen, we'll try and make that fight. Johnny's got a fight date coming up in October. Let's see if we can do it for then.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
That's what we like to hear. Moving on to the next set. Looking to follow in Johnny's footsteps, we have Solomon Dakers, looking to move 3-0 in his career hardest test to date, with Kamil Sokolovsky live from Liverpool on the 9th of October, live on DAZN around the world.
If I'm not on my A game and I'm not focused and I don't underestimate him, like I said, I can come unstuck. So I've got to make sure I take it as the way I'm looking at it, improving myself, showing the level that I can be, being the best that I can be in there, because that's what I've got to be the best to beat him on the night.
Max, you'll know about, obviously, Sokolovsky, and he's upset people, but he's also had decisions that haven't gone his way. We've seen it with David Adelaide. But what kind of test is this for Sol?
It's a good step up for his third fight, Sokolovsky. He's experienced and he's a rugged, tough kid, strong kid. I think he'll bring the best out in Sol. These are the sort of opponents that Sol wants. He wants to move forward with his career. So, it's a good opponent, Sokolovsky, but I'm confident Sol will do a good job on him.
It's almost like becoming the SJAM way to kind of test you guys. Obviously, we saw Johnny Fisher the other day, and the way Sam talks about him, but not just him, the whole stable of kind of maybe pushing fighters not ahead of where they're meant to be, but just kind of bringing that step a little bit closer.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to make those little step-ups because, like I've said to other people, if I have, 10, 15 fights and I've not really had a test, and then I fight one good fighter and I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? You've got to prepare yourself for those steps. And it's just preparation, really. Fighting good fighters prepares you to fight even better fighters, and that's what we want because we want to fight the best and be the best.
Another of SJAM's fighters looking to add another win to his resume. Florian, the Albanian King Marco, he steps in with the undefeated and big punching as well, Maxim Prodin, which is a massive clash of styles. That's going to be a great fight. On the undercard of the big one as well, Anthony Joshua against Alexander Usyk, with a full card that's been announced for that as well. And that's going to be another great fight. And let's look at a little clip on Florian here as well.
I want people to put respect on my name, I fight first of all for myself, after for the people. That's why I choose these hard fights. And after I beat Maxim, I think people will start to respect me a little bit more. Not the way I want to, but step by step they will start respecting.
Sam, Florian Marco is unbeaten in all 9 of his bouts so far, with 6 knockout victories. What do you believe he needs to do in order to earn that respect he's after?
Knock Prodin spark out.
Do you think that that's all the statement needs to do? Because obviously Maxim Prodin's shown that he's a tough man, that he's not going to be easy to knock out.
Exactly. Like, you don't want to leave it in the hands of the judges. Florian's wary about doing that. He wants to get the job done, but he wants to excite the public. He wants to excite the fans as well, doing it. Like, it's a huge stage. It's the biggest fight of his career. It's the biggest stage. Florian's boxed all over the world as a kickboxer, as a MMA fighter, all over Europe. He's been involved in big fights. His last fight was a big fight, but this is another scale. It's massive.
We've seen Florian Marco get dragged into wars in the past that maybe he didn't need to be in, because he's shown in his last fight he's got very good boxing ability as well. Do you think that could happen at some stage in this fight as well?
It will say that again.
Do you think that could happen at some stage in this fight as well, that he could be dragged into a war?
Yeah, of course. It's in Florian's nature. If the fight's close, I don't know whether it's going to be close or not, but we don't want it to be. But if it's close, Florian might choose to just bite down on the gum shield and let some shots go and go to war. It's in his nature, isn't it?
And an IBF international victory, obviously, which then will make him world ranked, I would think. What kind of positions that put him in for big fights moving forward?
Yeah, massive fights. Obviously, we're looking at, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there's talks of doing a show in Albania towards the end of the year, if not very early part of 2022, which will be enormous. So it's huge fights ahead for Florian, especially if he gets this done.
Of course. Also, Johnny, with Saul Dakers hoping to go 3-0, like as you did as well, against Kamil Sokolowski, as a fellow heavyweight and obviously part of the stable as well, how can you see that fight going?
I've sparred Solomon. I've done a couple of rounds with him in Birmingham a few months ago, and you can tell his experience. He's had that GB experience. He's very calm. And one thing I'll say about Solomon from watching his training, he dedicates himself fully to the sport, and he doesn't cut any corners. So that's going to pay dividends for him. Whether it goes a distance or he gets a late stoppage, I think he's going to have the engine, he's going to have the experience and the skill to deal with someone like Kamil Sokolowski, who's tough and durable, as you said. But if you are a GB level boxer, you should be getting through him, and I have no doubt that Solomon will do that.
Do you think Sokolowski could be someone you can end up in the ring with in some point in the future?
Yeah, it could be. It could be, of course. But as Sam said, we take every fight as it comes, and the main thing is we've got to look for an opponent on the 30th of October, or it might be the 30th, it might be a bit later, a bit earlier than that. But just one fight at a time. I don't like thinking about, I've got to fight this guy, then this guy, then this guy. The only thing that matters now is the next fight and what we've got to do then, and then we assess at every step of the hurdle of the way we've got to go.
Absolutely. No, I agree. Absolutely. Chris, as we said earlier, you've obviously been vocal about every SJAM heavyweight on social media, making videos and stuff and calling everyone out. So now you've got the perfect chance to rank each heavyweight out of 10 in the SJAM stable, starting off with Joe Joyce.
I like Joe Joyce out of 10. I mean, Joe Joyce, he's really he impressed me every fight since about 4 fights ago against Jennings. Every fight, he just goes up. I had him at a 4 when I was calling him out. Then he beat Stavern. He went to like a 5 or 6. Then he beat Jennings. He went like 7 or 8. Then he beat Dubois. He like 8.5. Then he just beat Takam, a guy I was sparring with, and I said that he was gonna give him everything he got. So he got to be like a 9.5 now. I mean, he's top 5 in the world to me. He just
you still want to fight him?
You know, yeah, I still want to fight him because I don't forget nothing about the past. But I mean, he just all the way impressed me. I'm a fan of him now. I didn't like him at first.
No, that's fine. That's fair enough. How about Guido Vanillo? Oh,
Guido,
Italian,
the volleyball player.
American
The volleyball player. Guido, he's cool. He just seemed like a nice guy, man. He ain't got that killer mentality to me. I would give him like a 7, potential 8, just based on, you know, I don't think he really been out there yet with a tough test. You know, I haven't seen him really get tested yet. But he got the body, he has the build. You know, it looked like he got the skill. He got a good trainer. I can't really give him a full grade, a full evaluation. I ain't seen him against somebody who's gonna hit back.
Yeah.
Then we got Solomon Dakers. He's cool. I think he got everything, but like I say, he ain't, I don't know, the energy and everything around him. It seemed like Johnny got more of the everything around him. You know what I'm saying? The team, all the fan base, the out of the ring stuff. Funny guy, you know what I'm saying, and humble at the same time. So I'm gonna put Johnny right over. Oh no, we're not doing rankings like that. Hold on, I was doing that. Okay, so we're starting with Saul. I'm gonna get Saul like
that's a whole different conversation. That is, you're opening up a whole box of worms there.
Okay, okay, so yeah, Guido, I'm gonna give him a 7 because I haven't really seen him get tested. You know, I think that's a fair rating for me. Solomon Dakers, I'm gonna leave him at a 7, and I'm gonna give Johnny 7.8.
Is that because he's on here?
Yes.
No, it's not.
I've got a second eye.
I watched him. He got a little bit of that killer instinct in him. I've been watching. I watched all his fights. So,
Chris, you know what's funny. You know what's funny, right? With Sol, and he's not been I know a lot of people say this, but he won't ever say this. But he's not been 100% in his recent fights. He's not been 100%. He was meant to fight Sokolovsky a month earlier than what he is doing. Now he's going to be 100%, and I assure everybody they will see a different guy. He is a mean man. He is a mean man, and people will see the best of him very soon.
It's good.
Well, like I say, half of it is that I'm a fan of Johnny Fisher more. And I just
I
like
know.
everything he's doing
You and
with the social
Johnny
media.
are cool. You and Johnny are cool.
He's more, and then like I say, we're in the social media era.
We're friends.
He's kind of like reminds me of me. He's just not calling nobody out yet. You know, so he's active on social media.
Yeah.
Solomon,
Chris, we have one more. We have one more heavyweight for you to rate anyway. Sam Jones.
Sam Jones. Okay. Once again, he's in the Joe Joyce category. He's in the Joe Joyce category. Meaning that we started off, I didn't like him. He was a 3 out of 10. I didn't like him at all. I didn't like Joe Joyce.
Chris, you always liked him.
I've always liked you. Hold on. But initially, you know, you were defending Joe Joyce so much. You know, I was like, man, this dude is in the way. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you know, so I also became a fan of Sam Jones, just what he's doing business-wise and everything he's doing. He's 100% in full support of all his fighters, win, lose, or draw. You know, so I watch his story. You know, I try to be like him sometimes. You know what I mean? I try to, you know, pump up because we're managers. You know, not only am I a fighter, I'm a manager now. So, you know, we're actually promoting at the same time. You know what I mean? So, but like I say, I'm a fan of Sam, funny guy, business guy, you know, charming and all that stuff. You know, he got the beard, so I might grow my beard back. Always trying to comment when he got his little lineup on the thing. But anyway, Sam, so I'm gonna give Sam a 10 out of 10. Just based on, man, he's just he's progressing, you know, the SJAM, and hopefully we get the SJAM USA going. And you know, yeah, you know, I mean, definitely manager of the year back to back, you know, in the world.
That's what we like to hear. It's a big compliment for Sam Jones, though, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said,
I appreciate it, bro.
High praise.
I'm gonna call a spade, man. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He got it right now. You know, a lot of people ask me about him and DM me about him, and they think I'm recruiting for him and all that stuff. But nah, you know, he does. Y'all doing it big out there. So much respect to SJAM, Sam Jones, and you know, I'm trying to be like y'all one day.
That's what we like to hear. Moving on to the next step, anyway, we have a little feature coming up from the other SJAM co-founder, Adam Morley. He's going to break down the exact way that we expect Joe Joyce's WBO #1 spot to be changed into mandatory to fight the winner of Joshua against Usyk, and he's there to break down exactly how the talks go and how exactly the dates might work, and when we could expect to potentially see Joe fighting for a world title at some point next year.
Hi everyone. One question I've been asked a lot about recently, received a lot of messages about, is what happened with Joe Joyce v Alexander Usyk? I've had people tell me, why didn't you serve papers with the WBO? Why didn't you push the fight harder? And I thought it was just worth a quick 60 seconds explaining why that didn't happen. The simple reason is that Joe was #2 in the WBO and still is #2 in the WBO. Joe only becomes the mandatory challenger after September the 25th. What occurred with Joshua and Fury allowed Joe an opportunity. So this is what happened. Joshua and Fury seemed to agree the terms, but the WBO was concerned that its mandatory rules had to be taken care of. If you remember, Joshua should have fought his mandatory against Usyk 2 times before, and Usyk had received step-aside money. In order to deal with the competing interests of Joshua v Fury on the one hand and the WBO maintaining their mandatory on the other hand, what happened was the WBO came up with a compromise. They said Joshua Fury could happen, but then there had to be an interim challenge, and that interim challenge would take place between Joyce and Usyk, and then Joshua or Fury would have to fight the winner straight after. That was their solution to deal with the mandatory versus undisputed issue. What happened was that undisputed never happened, and accordingly that fight could never happen, Joyce v Usyk. So it's as simple as that. Joyce Usyk could only happen if Fury Joshua happened. Fury Joshua didn't happen, so Joyce Usyk couldn't happen there and then. There were no papers that could be served. There was nothing that could be done with the WBO because Joe Joyce was the #2 contender, not the mandatory. From September the 26th, when Joe is the mandatory contender, SJAM, myself, Frank Warren, everyone will be pushing for Joe to get that mandatory shot as soon as possible. And it might be sooner than you think.
So Johnny, if Joe does fight Usyk or Joshua in 2022, who do you expect him to be facing?
I think Joshua's just... I like Usyk, I really do. I think the way he carries himself, he's a great boxer, but I just think it gets to a point where physics matters more than boxing ability. And I just think Joshua's sheer size, power, and the punch power he carries will eventually get to Usyk. I saw how Chisora tried to deal with Usyk. He didn't have, obviously wasn't successful, but he showed glimpses of how Usyk could be vulnerable to some bully tactics. And I think that's what Joshua's got to implement, a bit of bullying tactics, and that's what's going to win in the fight.
And how would you see Joe against AJ playing out of that if AJ was to pull through against Usyk?
I think Joe causes him some problems, you know. I think he does. I think it's a tougher fight for him than fighting Usyk because obviously someone of a similar stature and size to him. But I think he just is... Joe, I've always said it, to fight Joe, even to spar him, is a horrible, relentless task because it's just, you'll hit him with everything you've got and he'll still find a way to keep moving forward. And if he is going to win, and I think he's got a good chance of beating Joshua, it will be through that relentless pace that he sets and that giving no one any, just suffocating their ability to do boxing work and to use their skills. So that's how he would beat him. Whether he does or not, it's a tough ask to beat a world champion like Joshua. But he's got a very good chance of the way he boxes.
Absolutely. And Sam, whether it's Joshua or Usyk, what does Joe need to do to beat these guys? And do you think he has the credentials to do it?
Know the answer to that already. Yeah, listen, Joe causes any heavyweight in the world problems. The 2 best heavyweights in the world at the moment are rightly placed with Fury and AJ are up there. But on his day, Joe causes both of those guys problems. He sparred both of them. He sparred countless rounds of Fury, countless rounds of AJ. If Joe Joyce turns up, he causes any heavyweight alive nightmares. I
agree. So here we go. We go to the quick fire round with Johnny here. So some quick fire questions, some questions that were sent in. I think I already know the answer to the first one right now. Favorite takeaway?
Chinese.
Yeah, absolutely. Favorite sport other than boxing?
Rugby.
Sam or Adam?
Sam.
Oh, controversial. Lager or cider?
I've got to say that, otherwise Sam will cry if I don't say Sam.
I mean, at your uni days, not now.
What did you say? Was the question?
At your uni days, what would you have preferred while you was at uni, lager or cider?
Oh, I would have had a Guinness, so that's neither. That's what I would have drunk.
Oh, there we go. We'll go with that. Fight Wembley or Las Vegas?
Las Vegas.
AJ or Fury?
Fury.
No food for a day or no phone for a day? That's quite a difficult one, actually.
Oh, Johnny, no food. You mad?
No fame. That's easy. No fame. What's the other one? Fame.
No phone.
No phone or no food.
Gotta say. No phone, yeah. Jesus, I don't want to die.
I think you would die with one day, would you? You'd be all right for one day.
Oh, he would be close to it, Shane.
Would.
He'd be close to it. He has shivers. He has shivers after 5 minutes.
No, if I don't eat for 3 hours or 4 hours, I'll start getting lightheaded. I have to eat something if I don't eat for about 3 or 4 hours.
Shocking, mate. You're shocking. Greatest of all time?
Ali, the greatest. He is the greatest.
Most annoying man in boxing? Other than Sam, obviously.
Yeah. Shane Watson.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Where's Habit?
Too aggressive. I'll tell you that. Slams his knife and fork around.
not being able, not relaxing enough. Like being a bit, heavy-handed.
That's what we like to hear. All right, then. Next, I'm going to the Sam Jones Q&A. These ones are all set in by fans, by the way. So beware of some of the questions that we're going to be asking here. But this is by round 12 boxing. How far can Sol Dakers get by the end of 2022?
To the end of 2022, he'll be a British champion by then, 100%.
By at Robbie Jack 64, are you working with that clown Lovejoy?
That's not a question, though.
No. Well, it is. Are you working with him? So
it is a question.
I give Chris free advice. He's my friend.
Yeah. Joe Joyce versus Otto Wallin by Jamie Henderson.
That's not a question, though.
Yeah, but do you know what? It is a good point. It isn't really so much a question. What it is you're asking who wins. That's it, really, isn't it?
He's asking who wins. That's a stupid question. You know when he's going to win. Joe by violent.
No, he's asking whether it's. He's asking whether it's going to happen. That's what
I doubt it because it's just he's just not on Joe's radar. I don't think it's a big enough fight.
And this is a question from Eddie Davis. How's it going being a new dad?
Challenging, very challenging. If you enjoy no sleep at the moment, but it's very, very rewarding.
Question from Janderson Flooring Services, very specific. Who's the next SJAM boxer to become a world champion?
It'd be the first SJAM. I would have to go. It's going to be. It's a tie between two. It's a tie between Joe Joyce and Lerone Richards.
Absolutely. And question by Shiner Moore. If you could manage one fighter who's not a part of SJAM stable, who would you pick?
Jake Paul. Probably Tank. Probably Tank.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis, Tank.
Khan versus Brook, who wins?
I think Amir Khan wins that fight. Now, I think he wins the fight.
Stoppage or?
I think he just potentially a stoppage, but I just think Amir Khan's hands are still rapid. So I think Amir Khan wins that fight.
Great. Thanks. It's been great to have you on the show, guys. Thanks, Chris, all the way from the States. Thanks, Johnny, only from Romford.
Hey, man. Yeah. Well, my question.
Where's his quick fire?
Yeah, where's Chris's questions?
Do you know what? That wasn't the Chris Lovejoy's Q&A wasn't put in, but we can start one now.
Make some up.
Start one now.
I think we do an encore of this show and we say some. Chris, I'll ask you some questions. Point straight off the bat. Yeah. Who wins? Yeah. Between Anthony Joshua and Usyk, we'll start with that first.
I'm gonna say Joshua, just because I think he's gonna be all the way prepared. I think he took his loss already. I don't see him losing no time soon.
Fat Burger or Five Guys?
Fat Burger.
Yeah, me too, mate, all the way. But they're definitely one and two, aren't they, Chris? Fat Burger, them Five Guys in that order.
Five Guys, good, but I'm going Fat Burger.
It's got to be the Vegas Fat Burger as well.
Yeah,
100%. The one on the strip.
That was
the
good too.
XXXL burger.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Chris, what we said? Okay, Wilder against Fury, the rematch, the trilogy.
Man, that's a good question. So let me rewind time a little bit. First fight, I had Fury all the way, and Wilder actually, he actually surprised me. It went the distance and it was a draw. Second fight, Fury impressed me by far. This fight, I really don't know what to think. I mean, I based on the second fight, I think that Fury's going to do the same thing. If not, it's just tricky, man. I don't know if Fury's going to be prepared. Wilder's just from the looks of it, it looks like he's going to come out like he came out in the Wilder Fury 1. I'm going to say it'll be a draw. I'm going to just go on a limb and say it'll be a draw.
Oh, controversial.
I mean,
last one then. Last one. Who is the most exciting fighter in the world? Who do you enjoy looking at? Who do you enjoy watching the most in the whole world, man? Pound for pound. Not heavyweight. Doesn't have to be a heavyweight. Boxing in general.
I'm going to say 2. Tank.
And you got to say 1.
Tank.
Yeah, me too. I would say this as well.
I'm a fan of Benavidez.
Okay.
That's why I was going to say 2. But yeah, Tank.
Very good fight. Yeah, me too. I agree with that. Very last one. What is your favorite go-to meal?
Man, I eat all kind of food, man. Go-to lamb chops, Ruth Chris.
Yeah, man, I'm a big fan of lamb chops. I'm feeding the lamb chops.
Yeah,
lamb chops are overrated, I think.
When Chris comes over, we've got to take him out for a meal to the Rabbits or something.
Yeah, when Johnny fights you, when you fight Johnny, after the fight, we go to the...
When's your next fight, Johnny? October?
End of October.
Next fight?
End of October.
Okay, I'm going to come out there.
Come over.
Hopefully,
you fighting Johnny, whether you fight Johnny or not, come over anywhere.
Where do I fight him now? I'm going to come over. I was going to come in 2 weeks.
Johnny, you need to have an eating competition with Chris. We're going to go to Five Guys, yeah? We'll get 2 burgers, and whoever finishes it first, that's it.
Or pie mash.
We can do that.
No. Chris don't know what pie and mash is. He wants a burger challenge.
Where's that fight at?
Don't know yet. Where is it, Sam? It's going to be in an arena somewhere.
End of October. Johnny's fighting end of October in a big arena in central London.
Oh, London. Okay, that's perfect. Because I don't want to go somewhere far out.
No,
it's not.
We'll stay London.
Okay, cool. I was going to come out there in a couple of weeks. I was going to go to Miami after this fight, and I was
come here
for like 2 weeks.
Come over here.
I was going to come to London while I leave Miami. Hey, man, listen, before we go. Shane, you unfollow me. Why did you unfollow me?
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
Why did
That's
you
the Ginger Ninja. The Ginger Ninja unfollowed you.
Why did you unfollow me, man?
I follow you today.
I didn't know.
No, that's not the question.
I didn't know.
That's not the question. That isn't the question, Shane. Why are you scared for it? Answer the question.
What was the question? What is the question?
Listen, don't be unfollowing me, man.
I didn't unfollow you. I don't think I ever followed you, did I?
Y'all gonna make the bad side come out of me. I'm a good guy. Don't.
I'll give you a follow back afterwards. But I didn't know I actually did unfollow you. But if I did, I'll follow you back.
Oh, that's a lie.
There we are.
Hey, listen, let me know when the fight is. I'm gonna come out there for the fight week.
Let's do it.
100%.
Do you have a date?
Great to see you.
Do you have a date?
Great to see you.
End of October, Chris. End of October.
You have a date?
Yeah, but I can't declare it on this video.
Okay, right, guys. To wrap up anyway, guys, we've got Adam Morley, the co-founder of SJAM, is going to give us an update on all the SJAM Boxing latest.
Thanks for that, Shane. Only one place to start, and Joe Joyce has just renewed his deal with Queensberry Promotions. He stays with Queensberry for another 3 fights now through 2022, and it keeps him on BT Sport. When AJ Usyk happens, September 25th, Joe Joyce becomes mandatory, and we think that means some point in 2022, Joe Joyce will be fighting for the lineal and undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And next up is Florian Marku, the Albanian king, returns on the 25th of September against Maxime Prodan for a version of the IBF title at White Hart Lane in front of 60,000 people on that AJ v Usyk card. We're really excited for a big Sky Sports box office night for Florian Marku, and we're sure it'll be the first of many to come for the future. And next up for the SJAM fighters is Solomon Dakers. Our GB heavyweight is boxing on the October 9th Anthony Fowler, Liam Smith card against Kamil Sokolovsky. It's a big step up for Sol, but it's one he can fully take. He will show his GB quality against Sokolovsky, we're sure. Sokolovsky caused David Adelaide quite a few problems, but we think in this fight you're really going to see Sol's quality shine through, and that step up won't be too problematic for him, and he'll just keep going and going. We have really high hopes for Sol. He wasn't in the Olympics this year, but he's got the quality to go all the way, and we're really excited about him. Next up on the SJAM heavyweights is Guido Vanillo. Guido's still recovering from his injury in October 2020 that he suffered against Kingsley Ibe, and now with his partnership between Top Rank and Sky, we're looking to get Guido on a Sky show this autumn. Exciting for his UK fans and particularly for his Italian fans to be able to watch him on normal time and actually get to the UK to watch him fight. So we can't wait for Guido to be fighting in the UK. One of our fighters that I get asked a lot about is Lerone Richards. When is Lerone Richards out again? Lerone will be out soon. We've got fight news pending there for a big fight for Lerone, European super middleweight champion. Can't wait to share that with you. Same with Johnny Fisher and John Hedges. They both got fight dates coming soon.
And that's all from us on the first SJAM Boxing Show. Thanks for all the guests on today's show, and hopefully we can see you all again in a couple of weeks' time.